The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk. It is episode number 871, August 26th, 2025. My name is Gonz, at Face Like the Sun, director of the Age of Deceit Films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from somewhere on some kind of machine. Am I even audible?
The world is getting crazier.
Oh no,
people are acting more and more.
Why is it starting again? Oh my gosh, yes, this is why I don't use the onboard jingle stuff here. It's all messed up. Okay, hi, hello. I am live and I have no power. So I am working off of a laptop that has about 30% power. I also have my smartphone that's got about the same amount of power, which is what is powering the internet. Internet keeps dropping here. Okay. All right. I think people are in here and they can hear me at least. Yeah, I think I dropped off for a second because the internet stopped working. Or am I still off? I'm back. Okay. Well, hold on. It's looking like it's trying to connect. Okay, so you guys can hear me. Great. All right. So I don't know how long this is going to last because I have no idea when my devices are going to die. Laptop is going down quickly. Phone's going down quickly. I have a portable power generator that's supposed to power my phone, and I can turn it on, but it's not powering my phone. So it's all falling apart, folks. It's all falling apart. And I'm anticipating a message from Basil. He's supposed to send me an audio message at some point in the next few minutes, so I can play that for everybody. Okay, well, as you might know, Basil is in Black Rock Desert. He's at Burning Man. He's doing his thing. He's out there. I think he said that. Let's see. He landed yesterday, got camp set up, and apocalyptic wind and rainstorm hit right away. So he was saying it might be 2023 all over again. If you recall, 2023 was when Burning Man there was a big old storm. It was all, people couldn't walk. It was all mudded out and everything. And then last year, I guess it was fine. I'm really out of my element here, folks. Without all of my tools, is this how the streamers on the street feel, where they got nothing? It's just them. They don't need any bells and whistles. You don't need a jingle board or flashy thing. I guess that is the modern way to do things. That people don't care about sound, jingles, and whatnot. I'm sitting in my dark garage, which is increasingly getting hotter and hotter. Of course, they chose a wave in Southern California as a day to shut off power entirely. So they did this, but it's just one of those situations where, It is what it is. I feel like they're installing some new upgraded surveillance apparatus. It's just like the feeling like, oh yeah, shut down the power, put in the new Tesla free energy infrastructure, but we're still going to charge everybody because, we got the great. Okay, sorry about that. I keep doing things to myself. All right, burningmanresearch.com. Go check it out. We've done multiple episodes uh, about Burning Man, but not just about it, but boots on the ground. We went there. No, not me, but Basil and the team with the Camp of the Unknown God, led by author, researcher, and um, just an overall friend to the show, Carl Tykrib. And I think they got last year's episode up there. Yeah, part 1 and part 2 from last year, Burning Curiosity. So go check that out. And we also have archives that go back to 2014 when we first had on Carl Tykrib to talk about Burning Man and the transformative events that became so popular. I do find it interesting how, as culture, at least the younger culture has shifted over to a more conservative period, that things like Burning Man are really out of fashion right now. Like everybody that I've seen mention it or talk about it, well, no one really cares, first of all, which is, it has its own usefulness. If no one's really paying attention to the thing that, for example, like Davos, think about Davos. How many years did they have Davos where nobody cared? Nobody paid attention. The only people screaming about it were truthers, conspiracy theorists, people that had shows like ours, the Alex Joneses of the world. They were the only ones really talking about all the developments at a place like Davos or the World Economic Forum events, the Bilderberg groups, etc. But now they can't even, they got to like move the location of the events. They probably don't even do the same kind of stuff anymore because it's just so unpopular. They got so much attention and negative attention that they even, had a couple years ago, their theme was to regain trust of the public. We've lost the trust of the public. We got to gain it back. And that was their message. So, all right. BurningManResearch.com. Let's hear this message from Basil. I am hearing it for the first time. Hopefully there is not anything too negative that happens there. Let me see. Ooh, it is an 11-minute message. Never a short, concise thing with Basil. It's always nice and long. So here we go. Let's check this out. Let me know if you can hear too. I can. Oh, I cannot hear. Hold on. Let's see. I'm doing this very lo-fi.
Everybody, Basil here at BlackRock 2025.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's try that again. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm going to be looking at the comments to see what you guys can hear or not hear.
Hey everybody, it's buddy Basil here at BlackRock City 2025. Let me tell you, the globalists are here. And they're testing all their machinations, including weather control. It's true. The weather modification program is live and active.
Okay, very faint and unclear so far. For some reason, it stops playing. There we go. Oh, jeez.
You're getting from me because I wasn't actually here on Monday. I was on the road. And would it have been better for me to record something from the road? Yes. I admit I should have done that. But here I am. And all I can do is move forward. Arrived on Tuesday, early morning. There's another dawn entrance into the BlackRock City gates. It took 7 hours waiting in line. Look, this is one of the surprising things that is just so usually shocking, no matter who you're talking to, is the amount of time that it takes to drive into Burning Man grounds. But when you see the numbers, and these guys have got to, in an orderly fashion, they check every single car, every single RV, every single vehicle is personally checked by usually a man in a kilt or a lady in a wig. Is just kind of part of the thing. They usually have a clipboard and you got to open up all your containers and the classic example is roll your friend into a rug trick, and so they will unroll any rug you try to bring into BlackRock City to avoid letting any unticketed hooligans inside. And on top of that, you're trying to get 80,000 people in the same spot in just a few days. It's between 10 and 20,000 people entering BlackRock City every day in the first few days of the temporary city globalist petri dish for engineering and transhumanism. So, 7 hours. Luckily, I took the night shift, got to sleep, woke up. It was dawn. Dawn was breaking as a man in a kilt checked every single compartment in the RV. And then I was in. And then I found a spot, which apparently is located directly next to the porta potty processing plant, I have discovered. that there is just a 24/7 porta potty smell at my location. Does that give the very savvy burner an idea of approximately where I am camping? Yes. But I imagine that there are fewer very savvy burners listening to this right now than perhaps some other podcast having to do with, I don't know, crystals or something. Got here, stinky camp, set up camp, instantly flashbacks. 2023 mudding man, weather modification takes place out of nowhere. The winds reaching, I don't know, 10,000 miles an hour. Tents falling, flattening all around me. Luckily, God bless, I have access to an RV for this event, or else it'd be so sad. I switched over to a new technology this year, which is drilling lug nuts into the ground in order to anchor my outside carpet and shade structure to the ground. With the big hurricane winds, I'm happy to report that the shade structure is still sticking and the rug is still laying down. And now it is Wednesday morning. Oh yeah, torrential rain, winds, everybody's camps blowing away. Very sad times for people, except for me. I'm safe and sound. Thank you for your prayers. And the rain fell and fell and fell and fell and fell. And everything got all muddy. Now, luckily, those who have tuned in for the Burning Man research reports in previous years, this is not as bad as the infamous 2023 mudding man catastrophe. Things are wet, things are muddy, but Black Rock City continues to survive and thrive. Has there been some sort of learning? Has there been some sort of, I don't know, space laser that is drying the mud out very quickly? Probably. In fact, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say that that's the truth. But now, my mission, after I eat some oatmeal, the next 10-20 minutes, is to head over to the Camp of the Unknown God and pray that it is findable and it is not as primary to the recording material that comes out of this year's Burning Man, of me wandering around for hours and hours and hours looking for Carl Tykrim, the Camp of the Unknown God. The others, there's a new crew out this year. You'll be hearing from them, at least the ones who want to be heard from. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be making contact probably right as this is being played on the air. I will be trudging, probably walking my bicycle up to the front door of the Camp of the Unknown God, and I will be sending in more updates, more reports. And when I get back next week, we will know. We'll have firsthand experiential research into what the lizard people have planned for us this next year, the types of psyops, new and improved psyops that they have loaded in the chamber. I wish I had more of those things to report on now. I will be attending several classes. There is a lecture about the unseen realm. You can imagine, as I saw that on the schedule, the unseen realm lecture. Let's go. Dr. Michael Heiser class. I'm sad to report, I don't think this is a Dr. Michael Heiser class, but I don't know, and I can't be sure until I go and see what they have to say. It would have been a perfect opportunity to actually bring a copy of the Unseen Realm. Might I say, even a very special signed copy from Dr. Michael Heiser himself to the Unseen Realm class. Got up, gave him the old razzle dazzle, show him what's really going on in the dimensions beyond I imagine it'll be some crystal 5D dimension enlightenment, something or other, but we're going to find out. Other than that, lots of lectures on AI, global domination. I will be bringing as much of that back as I can. Thank you, Gonz, for holding down the fort this week. You are the man, and everybody else. Pray for me, pray for Carl, pray for the whole Camp of the Unknown God. And if there's a way, here's what I'm going to do. If there's a way for me to make more recordings available, I will send out a text message to the text message alert system. So if you want, I can't guarantee this, but this is what I'm shooting for. If I can make more, perhaps daily, perhaps every other day, recordings available, so you don't have to wait until next week. I will see if I can get links to those to the text message alert system. Go right now, take out your phone, open up the text message alerts or your text message app. Text the word canary to 877-740-3226. Yes, that's right. I do have it memorized now. Isn't that nice? Text the word canary to 877-740-3226. Not only will you receive alerts when we go live, but if I can make some other recordings available, I will send those links out to the text message alert system. A big update for those who've been following the BurningResearch.com journey for many years now. I did once again, for the 4th year in a row, bring out a Starlink. And I'm happy to say, for the first time ever, has there been some modicum of internet available at the Canary Cry base camp. It is not good. It is not fast. It is not reliable. And yes, it does drain the battery very, very quickly. But I think it will be just enough to be able to make some recordings available. Okay, so there you go. Everybody have a wonderful week. God bless.
All right.
Pray for the Camp of the Unknown God. Pray for Burning Man, so we can bring back the diabolical secrets and plans that await us. Godspeed.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Just keeps going. All right. There it is. There's Basil. Coming at us from Burning Man. Always fun to hear how he's doing, all the stuff he's up to. He's always out of breath. I think that's the one thing that, I've been invited to go out there with them. I just don't want to be out of breath for that long. I was out of breath for most of my life. I'm done being out of breath, guys. Just, like to stay in shape and be away from the lizard people planning stuff and devils dancing in the nude. So, what's funny is some people were saying that they were concerned actually a few days ago. They said, hey, Basil might have been arrested. We think Basil was arrested. I was going, what in the world? And somebody said somebody that looks like Basil just got busted for drugs on their way to Burning Man. And the San Francisco Chronicle reported it. Burning Man bust. Driver had huge haul of drugs for sale, Nevada police say. And yeah, it looks like a little mini pharmacia booth that he had planned to bring to Burning Man, which, look, little cocaine, little methamphetamine, little ecstasy. People still do ecstasy. I did not know that. I thought that was a history. It's over. I thought that was over. Psilocybin mushrooms, LSD, and oxycodone. Okay, great. Oh, MDMA, Molly, or ecstasy. Great. Oh, it tells you how much he had of everything. I like it when they list it. It's just like it's like a lineup of what you didn't get to have, people at Burning Man. You didn't get to have your 104 grams of crack cocaine and 6.1 grams of methamphetamine and ecstasy, psilocybin, 9 grams of Molly or MDMA. Okay, all right. I'm realizing I'm behind on drug, I don't know, lingo or something. I mean, not that I was ever super into it, but I thought Molly was ecstasy. I thought ecstasy was MDMA, but this is making it sound like they're two different things. All right. Yeah. Okay. So there's a mugshot of the guy, and you know, white guy, little scruffy chin, long hair. And you know, if you've been staring at Basil for as long as we have, um, with VR goggles, I could understand why people were like, "Oh my gosh, is that Basil?" I think Basil got busted with all the drugs. But I will just state it here now. Guaranteed, this is not Basil. It may be one of his relatives, who knows? But I don't think this is Basil. Actually, I know it is not him. So just so anybody who is concerned, it was it was not Basil getting set up and framed. He's clearly at Black Rock Desert, unless they took him and you know that was a doppelganger or some kind of clone that I was hearing from this message. But there you go. That's just so you know we settled that. And yeah, so we'll keep tabs on the Burning Man stuff. I'm looking at my power. It's really low, folks. It's really going down. Let me just touch on this story that I wanted to touch on today, and I might have to just drop out because it's just one of those days. It's one of those days. No power. Basil's out. I'm surprised I'm even here, being able to bring something to you guys. Everyone's talking about it online right now. It's the horrible situation that unfolded this morning. And the headline here from CCNT says at least 2 children killed and 17 injured in shooting at Minneapolis Catholic school mass. So my immediate reaction to this was, oh, this is stoking the holy war in America. And we've been talking about the holy war in America for a long time. And this one feels really on point in terms of all the elements surrounding the story. First of all, you have it's in Minnesota. I think it's on the ground where you know Tim Waltz is in charge. So that's one thing. But I did a little searcheroo research, and this is not 2 miles from where the George Floyd incident happened a few years ago. The I can't breathe, all that happened not even 2 miles from this church. So, you know, that's a first little red flag of like, hey, what's really going on here? Secondly, well, okay, so on that first point, we if you remember those episodes when we were really digging into that stuff unfolding that year, I think it was was it 2020? I think it was 2020. That was just a crazy year. A lockdown, and then the George Floyd stuff I think happened just a few weeks later. So we looked at all the Freemasonic temples in that area, and there's a ton of them. There's a bunch of them, and obviously, you know, there are the cultural issues going on with that area and the politics and everything. But I noticed, I mean, people online, everyone's freaking out because the shooter has been identified. I have the raw alerts post here that outlines it. 22-year-old suspect Robin Westman has been identified in deadly Catholic school and church shooting, as he posted manifesto online. So 22 years old, that it's the perfect age pocket of all these guys that do this type of thing. There's like an age profile for all of them in this style where, you know, they're going after kids and they have a manifesto and the whole deal. Robin Westman, every time there's a shooter, their names always can be something, some kind of reference. Of course, Robin, you got Robin Hood, but simply just robbing, like actually robbing. West man, robbing the Western man, and he is a trans woman. I mean, whatever, trans woman or identifies as trans. Biological man, by the way, biological man. And so, yeah, just an interesting pattern, I guess you can say. The Western man being robbed, in a sense. Interesting. And the Catholic school part of it is really the holy war element of this. And the fact that it was during prayer, like I think the kids were praying in mass when the shooting happened, that is going to inflame American Christians in terms, especially, a lot of them are Catholic. A lot of in this revival of the populist movement, the American populist movement that we've had in the last few years, a lot of young people have moved towards Catholicism or Orthodoxy. Some were asking for a revival. I suppose being in the Catholic Church is better than not being in any church. But obviously we at least I personally have some disagreements with the theology and ecumenical structure of Catholicism. But in any case, Raw Alerts here says authorities have confirmed the suspect in the tragic mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic School and Church as 22-year-old Robin Westman, a biological male who identifies as transgender. Officials say roughly 2 hours before the attack, Westman posted a manifesto on social media, which has since been removed. Yeah, everybody has it. It's a 10-minute thing where I'll show a little bit here, and I don't know, maybe I'll get in trouble on YouTube and stuff for showing it, but I won't play the audio. Let me finish what it says here. Westman posted a manifesto on social media, which has since been removed, along with all related videos. Westman entered the campus armed with a semi-automatic weapon and pepper spray, opening fire on both students and parishioners. At least 20 victims have been shot, many of them children, with several critically injured, and 2 of the victims have been passed away. A heavy police presence remains on scene. And Raw Alerts here, everyone has the screenshots, okay? They have the screenshot of this video of the guy. It's like a multi-page handwritten note, manifesto, and he's kind of waving it around, and there's a dramatic moment early on where he's sort of showing the pages of it, and he drops just a big handful of bullets right onto the letter there. And he's kind of walking around, and he's showing his guns and stuff. Like it's very, as far as it is problematic for the former, I guess not structure, but like the left-right paradigm that as it was like, okay, if you're trans, you're left, progressive, but they're the same people that are anti-gun. So yeah, but this sort of breaks all that stuff, because here you have a trans person who's really, showing off all his bullets and guns and everything, and then he goes and rails on children. I mean, it's crazy. And so the other part of it is on the I don't know what these are called, the rounds or the cases of I am not versed in gun parts as well as I should be, probably, but the cases, the bullet cases, there's words and things written all over them, things like "I love you" or other more terrible things. I'm the waxer baby. Like, I don't. I mean, I think that was a reference to the Joker, and I mean, there's like a lot of weird stuff in here, and one of them had let's see, I think there was one here. Oh, BlackRock. Yeah, he kept saying sponsored by BlackRock, which I thought was another interesting thing. It's like, if you want to keep some kind of public sentiment, or allow the public to have some kind of argument that defends BlackRock, you get the trans crazy person that kills kids say sponsored by BlackRock, because I mean, it just creates more content for people. Some people are going to say like, see, BlackRock, but other people will say, no, this has nothing to do with BlackRock. This person is just a crazy conspiracy thing. So it's mixing up a whole bunch of different elements here. There is a message. Of course there is. Of course, he's got the revolver. He had a couple things about God. I'm trying to find the one where he shows something about God. Release the list. Israel must fall like a phoenix. We rise from the ashes. I'm assuming it says. Yeah, it's the nuke India. Okay, nuke India. Great. Every single one of these, an upside down cross. Every single time there is this type of, and this is clearly, like your sort of MK Ultra subject, you have just the mishmash of so many different topics of conspiracies, and they're all just views from. It's like a hodgepodge. It's never very coherent. It's all just hodgepodge views that get expressed in stuff like this. And I mean, this gives fuel. If you, in terms of the anti-Israel, it's like, hey, yeah, destroy Israel. Think about how Israel, the modern nation state Israel, anyway, uses something like that to push back on anti-Semitism. They need this person to be anti-Semitic that benefits a certain group. Let's see. Kill pedos. Kill pedos. Yes. I mean, don't you agree with that, conservatives? Most conservatives agree with that. Kill pedos. Oh, let's see. Let's see. I'm just kind of scrolling through some more of the stuff here because, Trump, obviously, that's, by the way, I think this individual was killed, so he's no longer around. And it just seems like all of this is about this actual word here. Not this word. Yeah, this is all content generation for people like us. I mean, look at me. I'm even looking at it and I'm looking at the content. It just is what it is. Sadly, that's what it has become. But in the end, there are presumably children that and multiple shot, regardless of the ops behind it, which we know it's an op. I have no doubt in my mind that it's an op level, but we're going to be talking about this for maybe a couple days, going through the footage. You're going to have all these people breaking down different elements of this event, especially the shooter and all of it. And it's against trans, and health was trending on X to show like, hey, there's clearly some mental health issues going on here. We need to take care of this because of the fact that, the whole people who identified as trans were considered mentally unstable or, a mental health issue prior to recent couple decades, maybe last decade. And Sir Darren's making a good point too. It's too easy to fake everything with AI nowadays. True. That's true. All of it could be faked with AI too. But I think the point is that, it provides low-hanging fruit type of content for the alt world, while at the same time the mainstream gets to report this, and you get to create all kinds of ideological line drawing, because all these different topics on the guns are probably going to come up in conversation in different parts, big podcasts, small podcasts, whatever, Twitter spaces. People are going to be talking about this thing and breaking it down. And meanwhile, there's stuff going on that we're not paying attention to. That's, probably going to be a lot worse down the line. And that's normal. Is usually a little, a symptom or a residual effect of something else that had been put in motion years ago, and you can tie all to much bigger operations, plans, whatnot. But it can all trace back also to the principalities and powers that the fallen humans who don't know Christ or don't know how much the power of Christ has over these rebellious entities, they will get their direction from some of these nefarious spiritual entities and carry out things that are probably generational in planning, but also, the threat probably goes very deep into just secrecy in general, but also, the after effects being felt years later. Things like MK Ultra, all the stuff that they did in the 60s, 70s, even before that, coming to the public in a form of mass mind control with television and entertainment industry, and it took a long time to roll everything out. And I think that's when you kind of start to see that, yeah, there's something else going on here, a spiritual thing going on behind the scenes that may not be considered when, especially because when things like this happen, we're so prone to just focus on the event and not think about the bigger picture of what's going on. That we can forget. We can forget that it's actually a spiritual battle. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. And also, the Bible is very clear that, especially in the Old Testament, that the leaders of what you think are good leaders and what they do in secret are pretty abominable. They're directly against God's plan. They serve other gods and worship beasts and stuff. They don't necessarily reflect what God wants, which again is also consistent with the divine council and the anti-divine council, or the rebellion members who are declared to be judged in 1982, but are still active today. So pray for the families of the victims, pray for that whole region there, and don't get triggered too much, folks, because I'm already seeing it all over my timeline on X, where people, at least about this topic, people are very distasteful takes from certain individuals. I would play the circle back jingle right here, because Jen Psaki was one of those people that I saw make a comment that was like, why would you? It hasn't the blood, the whole thing about the blood hasn't even dried, and people making comments. It's happening all over the timeline. So don't get too sucked into it. Because again, it's supposed to be. All of these things are control mechanisms at the end of the day. The White House just posted that they are going to put the flag at half staff on all public buildings as a mark of respect for the victims of the senseless act of violence perpetrated on August 27th. So 8/7/2025. And I gotta admit, for a while it felt like anytime there was a shooting, people just didn't care. It was like, yeah, there's another one. There's another one, because culturally we've shifted, as I'll keep repeating here, we've shifted a lot to the right. So in that regard, the shootings, unless the perpetrator had the political affiliations that triggers the public, it really kind of died and went away. In this case, this is not only a big mass shooting. I mean, shooting 20 people is a lot, and 2 dying right away it's quite the tragedy. But also the individual that was the shooter comes out as it's almost like the perfect avatar for anti-conservative sentiment, right? He's sort of he's a conspiracy theorist that is not sound in his conspiracies. It's like the wild ones or at least perceived as the wild ones. It's all kind of hodgepodge together, and there's no coherence in anything. But he hates God. That was the one I was trying to find. There's one that says like, "Where's your God now?" on one of the cases, and it clearly an anti-God message, which I say don't get triggered, because that's when I say that's what it's supposed to do. Think about where we are culturally. There's a whole lot more young people conservative now, And this is going to push them to a more radical position. Loosely speaking here, I'm making sweeping generalizations, so this is not scientific in any way. When I say some of this, it's just more of an anecdotal observation sociologically, but it's meant to create that division of the spiritual or religious, I should say, religious people versus the non-religious, and continue this divide and conquer. And you need that tension with any society if you control it effectively from the top down, and not be an authoritarian regime. You have to create different strata and allow different kinds of things to develop, so that you can be in a state of emergency, in a state of war. I mean, we're in, it's so messy right now because of what Trump is doing. And I don't mean that in like, I know people get triggered to hear that, like, oh, Trump's doing this, and so, oh, are you a liberal or a Democrat? Saying what he's doing is fairly unprecedented. And example, the National Guard thing in Washington, D.C., and all this stuff. On one hand, it's like, okay, yeah, he's doing like the cleanup thing. But also in any other president or any other circumstance prior to Trump, people would say this is what he's doing, in fact, in certain ways, is martial law. But because of Trump, it's not martial law, right? So he's and other things that are going, the flag burning thing we talked about last episode, where it's like, okay, it's a little nuanced thing going on with the burning of the flag. You get jailed, but it's more about other crimes